Okay, we are picking up on Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Hey guys, we're picking up on Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Okay, we're picking up on Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. We are at the last thin line before it gets wide, about 6-7 lines down. So the Gemara says, so right now the Gemara was saying that whenever it uses the lashon of Yehuda, when it calls someone Yehuda, it means someone that had been kofar in avodah zarah. So it's going to prove it now from the story with Bisya, the Bas Paro. So the Gemara says, Reb Shimon ben Pazi could have a pasuk with Divrei Yamim Amar Hachi, that whenever he would start his shir, he would start talking about Divrei Yamim, he would say like this: Kol Divrecha Echad Heim V'anu Yodim L'Darshan, that all of your words are one, but we know how to be darish them. That meaning in Divrei Yamim it calls many people. It calls one person, it gives them many different names, and we're going to explain now what that means. The pasuk says, "Ve'ishto haYehudiya," and again, that's the key word. Is Yehudi? Is that the word Yehudiya there? Yalda es Yared Avi Gedar Beschaver Avi Socho V'es Yekusiel Avi Zanoach Ve'ela Bnei Bisya Bas Para Shiyad Lakach Mareb. So it's talking about, the Gemara is going to say, it's talking about Kala ben Yefuna, and it's saying that Kala ben Yefuna married Bisya, and it's saying that she gave birth to Yekusiel, the father of Zanoach. She gave birth to the father of Gedar, of Chaver, and of Yekusiel. So it's going to go through now and explain what that was. Gemara says, "Amai Karle Yehudai." So why do they call Bisya? Why do they call her a Yehudai? So the Gemara says, "Al Shem Shekafra B'Avodah Zarah," because she was kofar in Avodah Zarah. D'chsev Batered Bas Paro Lirchotz Al Yor, that the daughter of Paro went down in Parsha, when it's talking about Parsha Shmos, where it says that Paro was the one that found Moshe. She had gone down to bathe in the by the river. That when she was going down there, she wasn't just going to bathe in the river. She was going down because she was denying an avodah zarah, and that basically was gerus in those days. In those days, gerus was not that there was a whole process that went through. It was basically you denied an avodah zarah. That was the way that a person became a ger. So the Gemara says. So Gemara first asks, Yalda, what do you mean that she gave birth to? Because it's talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. But Rabbi say she only raised him. She didn't give birth to him. My answer is that if someone raises a child in their house, even if they didn't give birth to them, it's as if they consider it as if you had given birth to them. And the Gemara continues, Yered Zemoshe. It says that Yalda as Yered. So who is Yered? So the Gemara says Yered is Moshe. But Lama Nirkashmo Yered. Why was he called that? Sheyarad lahem Yisrael man biyama, because the man Yered, it fell down in his days when Moshe Rabbeinu was leading them through the midbar. The man fell down. Then the pasuk also calls him a Gedar. What does that mean? Shagadar Pirtzosein Shal Yisrael, that he caused the fence to go around Klal Yisrael, that when he brought the Torah down to the Bnei Yisrael, that caused the fence to protect them from doing Averos. The next word it says Chaver. Why does it call him Chaver? Again, just referring to Moshe Rabbeinu. Shechiber es Yisrael Avi and Shavashmayim, because he brought them close. He connected the Bnei Yisrael to Hashem. Socho. And why does it call him Socho? Because Shanasa Lahem Yisrael Kasukah became like a protective covering for the Bnei Yisrael. That when Hashem would get upset with the Bnei Yisrael, so Moshe Rabbeinu would beseech on their behalf, and that would act as a protective covering to protect them from Hashem punishing the Bnei Yisrael. Yekusiel, why did it call him that? Shekivi Yisrael Lakel B'Yama, because he caused that Bnei Yisrael had hope to Hashem when they were Yekusi Kel, that they had hope towards Hashem. Zanoach, and what did they call Moshe that? Shehizniach Avusan Yisrael, because he kind of threw away the Averos that the Bnei Yisrael had. So anyway, so from that pasuk, we see that again the point why it was brought down is because Bisya she was called Yehudai because she had denied in Avodah Zarah. So
in which pasuk? Was that Divrei Yamim?
Yeah, in Divrei Yamim. So in Divrei Yamim it gave her many names. It gave her, and explaining why it called her that and why it gave Moshe many different names. So Gemara says it said in the pasuk, when you look in the pasuk in Divrei Yamim, it says 3 times it says the word Avi. So it says Avi, Avi, Avi. What's it referring to? So Av b'Torah, that he was a father to us in Torah. Av b'Chachma, that he was a father to us in the way that he had his wisdom. And Av b'Nevius, and also that he was a father when it came to Nevius. And then it continues in that pasuk in Divrei Yamim, Ve'ela b'nei Bisya, Ashalokach Mered, V'chimered Shema, V'alokalev Shema. His name wasn't Mered, it was Kalev. So in case you didn't know, Kalev ben Yefuna, who was the with Yoshua, he was the one that did not give the lashon hara on Eretz Yisrael, but he was saying that no, that everything was good. So his name, he ended up marrying Bisya Bas Paro. So the Gemara says, why did they call him Mered? Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu Yavo Kalev Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu Yavo Kalev Shemarad Ba'atzas Meraglim V'Yisa Es Basparo Shemarda B'Gelule Beisavia, that let a Kalev who rebelled against the Atzas Meraglim. The Meraglim want to say Lashon Hara about Eretz Yisrael, and Kalev rebelled against them. He didn't go along with them. He and Yoshua. So he says, so let him marry Abisya Basparo, who rebelled against her father in the sense that she denied Avodah Zarah. Okay, so now that was a little bit of a sidetrack. Now we're going to go back to explaining, going back to the Psukim in the Megillah. So the Megillah says Asher Haglam Yushalayim, that it says that, and we learned this with the lashon of with the tune of Eicha. A lot of people learned that. Amar Rava Shagalam Me'atzma, that Mordechai went down on his own will. Right, so Rashi explains that because it doesn't say, because it really could have just said Asher Harim in Agola. It doesn't say, it says Haglam Yushalayim. He went down early because he saw what was happening, and he knew that he had to set up some sort of infrastructure for the Bnei Yisrael, for the Jews when they were leaving Mitzrayim. He had to set something up outside in Chutz La'aretz. So he actually went into Golos before the rest of the Bnei Yisrael did. So it says by Hiomen as Hadassah. It says that he raised Hadassah. So Karile Hadassah for Karile Esther. The Gemara says it calls her Hadassah and it calls her Esther. What was her name? So Tanya Rameir Omer Esther Shema. Her name was Esther. V'lama Nurka Shema Hadassah. Al Shema Tzadikim Shenukra Hadassah, because Tzadikim are referred to as Hadassah because the Hadassah have a very pleasant smell. So to Tzadikim they do the mitzvahs. It's very pleasant. So she was called Hadassah. V'cheinu Omer V'hu Omed Ben Hadassim. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Hadassah Shema. Her name was Hadassah. V'lama Nurka Shema Esther. So why do we refer to her as Esther? Al Shem Shahaisa Masteres Devareha, because she hid herself. She didn't let anyone know where she was from. So that's the lashon of Esther, that she was hiding herself. So we called her Esther. Shenemar Ein Esther Mageres Vesama, because it says that Esther did not tell everyone what nation she came from, because Mordechai told her not to do it. So she didn't tell anyone where she came from. Rabbi Nechemia Omer Hadassah Shmor, that her name is Hadassah. Lama Nikras Esther, so why do they call her Esther? Show you Umos Olam Karnasa Al Shem Istaher, because people will call her after the moon. And the moon, when you look at the moon and when it's in its full glory, it's very beautiful. So when they saw Esther, they saw that she was very beautiful. So in a complimentary way, they're referring to her as the moon. She was not tall, she wasn't short, she was like average, like a Hadassah was, and that's why they called her Hadassah. Rabbi Yoshua ben Karcha Amar Esther Yirakrokas Haisa, that really Esther wasn't beautiful. She actually had like a greenish complexion. V'chut shel chesed mashuach aleh, and Hashem put like that when people saw her, they saw her favorably, and therefore she appeared beautiful to the people, even though she was not beautiful. She had this greenish complexion. And the Mefarshim say that she had this greenish complexion because she was so she was so disgusted by having to go to Achashverosh that it changed the color of her skin, that it made her just disgusted.
Emoji comes from
I don't think so. I don't think that the emoji comes from the from the story of Megillah Esther, but maybe. You'll have to ask whoever came up with that color. The Gemara continues, so it says that she didn't have a mother and father, and says, and when her father and mother died, so then Mordechai took her in. So the Gemara says, why do we have to have both? If we say that her father died, that her mother and father died, why does it say she didn't have a mother and father? We know that. The Gemara answers, Amravacha Ibarta Mesavia, that right after her mother conceived, her father died, and Yiladata Mesa Iman, right after her mother gave birth to her, her mother died. So it was like it was like a double tragedy. Not only was she an orphan, but her father died right after conception, and her mother died right after birth. So it was a double tragedy. And when her mother and father died, Mordechai took her as a daughter. So Tana Mishum Rav Meir, it doesn't mean that he took her for a daughter. It means Levias, which Levias is a reference to taking her for a wife. And where do we see that? And now it's speaking about the pasuk is referring to when David HaMelech, when he took the wife of help me out here. Who did he take? Bathsheba. Thank you. So they were giving him musar. So they were saying to him, it says in the pasuk, that the poor man doesn't have anything except for like a small little sheep. And he raised her up, and he grew up together with him. She eats from his bread, and she drinks from his cup, and she sleeps. She lies down next to him. Again, it's referring to a sheep. But the hilo kavas, and she was like to him like a daughter. So Mishum de V'cheiko Tishkav Havile Kivas. You see that just because that the sheep was laying down next to him, she was like a daughter to him. Ella Kivais, it means that it was like a wife. That they were in the same bed together. Not that anything was happening, but they was in the same bed, which is a husband and wife. They sleep in the same bed. So too, you see that bias is referring to the lashon of a wife. So too it's here for a house. And again, the pasuk here is just referring to that Dov was getting musr. He's saying that Bathsheba's husband only had one thing. Like you have everything, and you couldn't live without having her as a wife. So it was a musr to him that he shouldn't have taken her as a wife. So Gemara continues, Vesheva Hanaros, that there were 7 women that were 7 naros that were given to Esther to help her. Amar Rava Shahaisa Muna Behen Yimei Shabbos. She would each one, she knew, she was keeping track of the calendar to know which day was Shabbos. She had 7 maidservants, so each one was Sunday, one was Monday, etc. So she would know which day Shabbos. Apparently, it was like, I don't know why they didn't have a calendar, or maybe it's like, like in Vegas where they have the lights on all the time and you lose track of time. They do that intentionally. It's possible maybe in the palace there was no sense of time. They weren't able to track days. So she would have, each Nara would come into her, so she would know when whichever one it was, day 7, she would come in, then she would come in, she would know that it was Shabbos. She wanted to be able to keep Shabbos. The Farshim also say that if she didn't want to give away that she was keeping Shabbos. So her 7th day maidservant always saw her resting and not doing any work. So she just assumed that she wasn't doing any work the rest of the week also, because she's a queen. So the queen sits around and doesn't do anything. And the other maidservants would see her doing work, so they always assumed that she's working on the other days as well. So no one realized that she was trying to keep Shabbos. The Gemara says, "Vayishaneha vesnaroseha," that Haggai would give her that he gave special naros to her. What does that mean? Amarav shechilta machal Yehudi, that he gave her Jewish food, kosher food. Not understanding necessarily that she was Jewish, but kosher food is healthier. So he would give her kosher food. Ushmuel Amar shechila kadle the chaziri, that just the opposite. He gave her like fatty bacon, and that's what she was eating. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Zirionim, that he gave her seeds. V'chein huomer v'hi hamaletzer nosi as pas pagam nosi lem Zirionim, that says when it's talking about Hanani, Mishael, and Azariah, that they took away their food, but they did give them seeds that they were able to eat. So too that some say that Haggai was giving her seeds that she'd be able to eat. So the Megillah continues, that what did she do? Then she sat Shisha Chadashim Shemen Amar, that she would sit 6 months with the Shemen Amar. My Shemen Amar, what is that? Rav Chia Barava Amar Sitak, that it's some sort of it's balsam oil. Rav Huna Amar Shemen Zayis Shelo Hevi Shlish, that it's some sort of olive oil that's only a third produced, and that seems to be a finer oil. Tanya Rav Yehuda Amar Anpatkion Shemen Zayis Shelo Hevi Shlish, that it's the oil that only attained 1/3 of its the way that it normally grows. So why would they put the Shemen Amor? Why would they put it on them? Shemashi Asaseyar Umaadin Asabas, because it would remove the hair and would make the skin glow. So they wanted to make her appear beautiful. So that's what they would anoint her with. So, and the Megillah continues, that she would come in the evening and she would leave in the morning. So Amar Rav Yochanan Meginusa Shalosa Rasha, from saying over the disgusting tales of Achashverosh, of how vile of a person he was, Lamdanu Shvacha were able to learn out the praise to him also. Why? Shelo Hayim Mishamish Mitas B'Yom, that he would not have relations during the day, he only had it at night. So that's supposed to be like some sort of praise to him, that even though he was a disgusting person, but the fact that we see that she would come only at night, and he was infatuated with Esther, means that he didn't have relations with her during the day. But he Esther knows it says that Esther found favor in the eyes of everyone who saw her. That for each person that saw her, they thought that she was a member of their tribe. So and you'd have a natural affinity. When you're going somewhere and you see like a frum Jew walking, you kind of like say, oh, I wonder if I know that person. Like you're trying to make a connection with that person. So every person that saw her thought that she was from their nation. So they felt a kinship with her. That she came in the month of Teves. That's when Achashverosh brought her into his home. Why? Yerach shenehena guf min aguf. That Teves is the coldest month. It's when when you appreciate the body warmth of another. So that's when Achashverosh, that's when he would desire her the most. That he would be with her. But what does it mean that he loved her more than everyone else? Mikol Absulos. Amar Rav, Bikesh litom tam besula tam. If you want to have tam beula tam, that if you wanted to have the sensation of being bola besula, he would have that when he was with Esther. And if you wanted to have the sensation of being bola beula, he would have that also when he was with Esther. But Yasam Melech Mishta Gadol, and the king made a great feast. Why did he do it? Ava Mishta v'lo Gadol, because Achashverosh was he was like desperate to find out where was she from. Like she wouldn't say where she was from. So first he made a great party for her, and she didn't say where she was from. Dalikar gavalo galule. So then he took the taxes off of people, and she in her honor, and she still didn't tell him. Which I don't know why he thought that was going to be like a great. Come on, honey, I'm taking the taxes off everyone. Come on, tell me where you're from. I don't know why that did it. She'd be popular, but yeah, maybe, I don't know. And Shara Pardishni v'lo Galilei, and then he sent gifts out to all of the important people who were in the country, and she still didn't give away the secret of where she was from. Gemara continues, and then they gathered they gathered the girls a second time from the kingdom to come for Achashverosh. So why they do this? So Azul Shakal ate some Mordechai. Achashverosh, he wanted to know where she came from. So he went to Mordechai because again Mordechai was already in power. He was already recognized as being a chacham, and and he had promoted him. So he went to one of his advisors, to Mordechai, and he said, Mordechai, Amar, he said, what can I do to try to find out where she's from? Not realizing that Mordechai had told Esther not to say anything. So Mordechai says to Achashverosh, Ein isha miskana ela b'yerech achaverta, that a woman is only jealous through her man, taking another woman. So you want to get her jealous, so she's going to try to endear herself to you. Bring another woman into the castle and into your kingdom, and then you'll have relations with her. That's going to get Esther jealous. She's going to want to endear herself to you, and she'll tell you where you're from. Now again, Mordechai was doing this. Why? Because he wanted Esther to come back home. So that's why he gave Achashverosh that advice. But still, afilu hachi lo galyale. Even so, still she didn't give away where she was from. Dechsiv ein Esther magadas maladata, that Esther did not say where she was from. And we will stop here for tonight.